Our next question is from Rodney James. Sir, you have been unmuted.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your cousin.
What's
How
up,
you
brother?
doing? Hey, listen, this is probably a follow-up question or I'll ask you a follow-up question about this after the fight because I know when you're this close to stepping on the scale, it's really hard to tell where your power and energy are going to be on fight night, right? Because right now I'm sure you feel completely depleted and the whole thing lethargic. But as of right now, as you're hitting pads, doing your last bit of weight cut, rolling things like this, light drills, are you feeling the same way that you felt when cutting to 45, or is it a little bit harder?
I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I feel pretty much the same as I did going down to 45. I got my weight down early enough where I'm not stressing, and I really don't think it's gonna be a struggle. Honestly, it's gonna be very comparable to when I went down to 45. And I've been still getting 2 workouts a day, still doing my normal routine. Tonight I'm gonna go probably get a good 5 rounds of work with Coach Mark, and again just things is pretty much the same, honestly.
Cool. And you mentioned earlier you got the UFC PI adjacent to the UFC Apex, which I don't know if you've had a chance to go there yet. A lot of the people in your circle have or have fought there. So what do you think? Like, what do you think about the buzz around the Apex?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a little different, fighting in front of nobody. But it's the UFC did a great job with this. You got hats off to everybody that works for the UFC. They're pretty much making this a seamless transition for us fighters, making sure we're safe. And thank God they could do this, man. Because I'm sure you guys want to watch fights. I know we want to compete, and I'm just fortunate they're able to do that.
And you know something, they're doing the same thing for us in the media, and I told Dana White as much. So actually, thank you for mentioning that. You're the first person to say that they're going above and beyond with their measures. Um, I want to address the elephant in the room, though. You went a long time in your career without ever being finished, and I have to imagine that at some point that mentally it almost makes you feel like it's not even possible. I certainly feel that way, like it's impossible to finish me. But listen, what was the experience like with the Brian Ortega KO? And I don't just mean in the immediate aftermath. I mean in the days that follow. What is the mental and physical repercussions that you go through um, after that first one?
Physically, I was fine after that fight. Honestly, I've been rocked, probably worse in other fights. But he did a good job of capitalizing on it and making the referee stop it. But mentally, it's tough, man. I don't take losses very well, especially knockout losses, I guess. But I don't know if they sting any less. A loss is a loss, and it's just something you have to get over. I think in the long run, it makes you stronger, makes you have a bit more mental fortitude. I'm not one to just get down and not get back up. So I'll always get back up, and that's the most important thing.
Right, right. And I think for you, you've been pretty vocal about this in the past. I think the losses that sting the worst are those decisions that you feel and that a lot of people feel that you should have won, which would have really changed the story of your legacy completely. Unfortunately.
Yeah, those razor thin ones are tough, But I mean, I'm not the only guy that has been subject to bad judging, or at least I think so. So it kind of goes across the board in this sport, unfortunately. And again, it's like another thing he's got to learn from. It's life ain't easy, and you're gonna get thrown a lot of shit you don't want to deal with, or a lot of shit you don't like, but you can't stay down. You just got to keep moving forward.
Great attitude, Frankie. I got one more question for you. You mentioned earlier about New Jersey being, one of the places, and of course, New York City was declared ground zero for COVID. But if we turn on the news, especially like a month or so ago, there's so much craziness going on in the streets, especially in New York City and New Jersey got pretty crazy. I'm just wondering, what's it look like out there where you're at?
Honestly, where I'm at, man, I'm on the Jersey Shore. Everything's peachy keen by us, bro. I don't get involved too much in that craziness, and I just make sure my family's safe, and I'm worrying about my duties as a family man and as a fighter, and that's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Edgar. We will see both of y'all gentlemen this Saturday, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.